This is a video by Rich Pin. Today we are working on a 1956 Volkswagen Beetle. This happens to be my own car. We are taking it out of winter storage and we're going to be doing an oil change today. Now the first thing we did is we disconnected the live feed wire to the coil. And then we cranked the engine over till the oil light went out. That gave us oil all through the motor. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to fire it up, warm it up before we change our oil. Okay, so we're going to warm it up a good amount and then drain our oil. Next thing we want to do is jack the vehicle up and support it on jack stands. And once you do, what you're looking at is the cover on the bottom of the engine. And it's held on by 6 10mm cap nuts. So we want to remove those from the front, tip it down, let the oil run down the front. And there's a screen underneath there, which we're not too concerned about on this vehicle because we have a full flow oil system. I'm using a nut driver here. Now underneath these cap nuts will be little brass washers, but if you lose them, doesn't matter because hopefully the kit that you have will have them in it. That washer wants to come down. We should see some oil pretty soon. Now we only have 2 nuts left. So what we'll do is we'll just loosen those, not take them off. Okay, now we'll let that drain a bit so it gets most of the oil out. Alright, she's drained pretty good. Let's take this one nut off. Make sure you have a container about this size . Put it in. Alright. Here's the cover. How much gunk we got on it. Wow. Pretty darn clean. Now let's see if we can get this off with our fingers, or will we need a putty knife? Now there is one gasket, as you see here. Then you have the what they call the strainer. This piece right here. This is the only filter you have on most bugs. Okay. Put that in for cleaning or replacement, and here is a second gasket. I know some people are going to say, Rich, you're getting oil all over your hands. Yeah, okay. Yep, and there's our gasket. Now here is the container that I used. We got all the parts in there. Now we weren't too worried about that strainer because see, you can see that I have a full flow oil system with a regular filter. So this is an extra step that I've got to do. I've got to take off this filter and replace it. Now here's the oil that we're going to be using on the Volkswagen Rotella T. It's 15 weight 40. Now this oil is made for diesel engines, so diesels run very hot, and that Volkswagen runs hot, so that is a very good oil for the air-cooled bugs. Now seeing that this has a large spin-on filter underneath there, I'm going to pre-fill it. Alright, we're going to take our strainer here and use some brake clean. Clean that down. Check for sludge in there. If you can't get any sludge underneath that screen out of there, toss it. Put a new one in. Of course, you want to take off the sludge right here. You can see I've already cleaned it. So she's ready to go. Okay, we're ready to put our strainer and cover back on. First we'll start with the gasket. Okay, now our strainer. Now our gasket. Alright, let's move this drain pan out of the way. We don't want our pieces falling in. Now I'm going to take a washer and the cap nut in my left hand. We'll put the cover in. There we go. Now the rest of it we can do with just one hand. Brand new washers. Now, here's the important part, the tightening. I found over the years, this is the best tool right here. Nut driver, 10mm, 6-point socket. Used to use a small little 1/4-inch ratchet till I stripped the studs, the nuts, whatever. You can over torque them. This is the tricky bit right here. Not over torquing these. You can see that I'm crisscrossing. Okay, there it is. They're all tight. Now, if your hand slips on the nut driver, use a glove if you can't get a good grip. Okay, it's time to put the oil in. Now, if you have an unmodified Volkswagen, it will be 5.3 pints. And for you liter guys, that's 2.5 liters. Here's the oil fill cap right here. And we'll use the same funnel we used to fill that filter. And we got to go slow. You can see that the angle that we're on doesn't let us pour it too quickly. Now on this bug with the remote filter, what I do before I fire it up to check it after I've got my oil in is to take off that wire from the coil, tape it right there, make sure she doesn't hit anything, turn the key over, crank it over and over and over till you see the oil light go out. Then it's safe to start it up. Okay, we just got done starting the engine up to circulate the oil, let it cool down for a couple of minutes, rechecked it on the stick, and she's right where she needs to be. So the job is all done. So that's all there is to doing an oil change on your old Volkswagen Bug.